Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of our online interview presentation series here at Commodity TV. And we want to talk today to Ximen Mining, and Christopher Anderson is here with us, the CEO. Good morning to Canada, Chris. How are you doing?
Excellent. How about yourself?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. All fine, in good shape. As always, we have sunshine and blue sky in Switzerland, and it looks like you guys in Vancouver are doing also well. So, Ximen Mining, we want to go directly into medias res. You had also some very good news we want to talk about later, and I would suggest I bring up the presentation here, and the floor is yours.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, if we could, this is we're operating in, we're assembling high-grade assets in southern BC. We've been working here since about 2014. So if we can go on to the next slide.
Yes, that's the normal.
And here's our disclaimer. Please take a moment to read it. And then the next one. As I get, we're focused on high-grade gold assets in southern BC. And if we'll move to the next one. Do you want to go? Yes. So as you can see, we're our premise is to go after high-grade gold assets that are, we're targeting ½ ounce per ton. That was our target area, all within southern BC. We wanted to have road access, so basically you could go to Tim Hortons and get a coffee and drive to our properties. We didn't want to have any helicopters, right? Although we did do some helicopter drilling last year, but that's not been our focus has been mostly we wanted road accessibility. So as you can see, we've assembled quite a few assets in southern BC. And if we go on to the next slide.
Just a question, Chris. Do you own all those assets 100%?
Yeah. So our premise also has been to acquire all the assets 100%, pay them off, and also to acquire all the NSRs. And we've accomplished that on, I would say, almost all of them. All our key assets for sure. The Brett, the Kenville, Treasure Mountain, the Greenwood Camp that we recently acquired. We've got a 1% NSR on a couple of properties in there. But I mean, the Wild Horse, we call it the Wild Horse. So those areas, that's the only area I think we've got about a 1% NSR on. And there might be a couple other little properties we have a 0.5% or 1%. But for all our main assets, the Kenville, the Brett, we've bought out all the NSRs and we own them 100%. Yes.
Super. Perfect.
So our main focus in the main asset in the company, primary asset is the Kenville Gold Mine. And we're looking at doing right now, we're waiting on a draft permit, which when we get, we'll hopefully everything will be there as we've been discussing the last 2 years. And then we'll approve it and move into a final permit. And we're looking at doing a 1,200-meter decline and then move into a bulk sample and hopefully roll into a small mining permit. So we can go to the next slide. This is one of the most, the mine manager here, myself, we're very excited about this project. It's located in Nelson, BC. It's in Tombstone granite, so it's solid rock. The portals that have been built there since the late 1800s are all still in good standing. We've done some work over the last 2 years fixing up the entranceway to one of the portals, which I explain when we get to. The water that comes out of the portal is absolutely pristine, great drinking water. As you can see me there taking a drink of water coming right out of the 257 portal. We've tied into the Kootenay Dam, so it's part of our, we're green energy, and we have one diesel unit that we'll be using underground. But other than that, it's a pretty lean and small environmental footprint, and we hope to be, providing high impactful jobs for the region when we get going. But anyways, we'll go to the next slide. And we own it 100%, and we also own the NSR. So we bought it out. It's a well-known in the area. It was one of the first gold producers in southern BC. It was actually set up in 1888, and you can see down when it started working in 1889 to 1954. It's been on and off. The last man in there to take some ore out of the workings was Lloyd Penner, who's our mine manager. And Lloyd is still our mine manager now, and he's the one that oversaw the drilling that was done in 2010, 11, and 12, and found the extensions of the original Kenville veins. So we can go to the next slide. This is the Kenville package. And you can see where the Kenville Gold mine is up near the top, that little black dot in there. Since we acquired the Kenville mine, we've been very busy doing land package and land assembly throughout the region. You can see the Star property there. That was acquired from 4 individual families that have had those packages over 50 years. It took us a year and a half to put all that together, but we've been assembling and putting together the entire package around the mountain. So we now have a very extensive land package for exploration. We put in recently we took 3 acres and built in our own camp in there with water and sewage and power. And we're moving in mobile housing in there, not only for the mine site, but also for the exploration teams. So for this summer, when we go up there, we've got our own housing and everything set up with mobile kitchens and everything for the guys to work in. We can go to the next slide.
How is the access? Is it all year round? How does that work?
We have
easy access.
Yeah, if you look on my Twitter feed, you'll see some great shots of the Kenville mine over the winter. But we have all year access. We have our own road called the Kenville Mine Road that goes straight up to the property. And up there, we've got I think there's some pictures in here, but there's a 5-bedroom house. We've got all the buildings in there, all the equipment's in there. All the infrastructure's there that we've paid and set up. Right now, we were just finishing off some of the hydro lines that we've been tying in with the transformer. So we've just been finishing that off in this last month. But we've been working there all year round, and it's good access, no problem there.
Okay, super.
So here's I'll show you the new area where we get into. If you see the red circle area down in the bottom, that is where some of the highest grades have been drilled off at the Kenville. And that's the new area that we're getting down to. And if you look to the left of it, you'll see a swarm of veins. How do I describe it on the picture?
I can do it.
The writing side of the picture, you'll see a swarm of veins. That's where we're going to start the portal and go down. We've got 750 meters of strike there and a whole series of new veins that get down into what we call the sweet spot, which is that red section down there. Up to the north, you'll see like a pitchfork with the blue lines. That was the original Kenville mine, and so this area to the south is a little bit deeper, and it's where some of the grades are the best grades that have been drilled off in the area, and that's those are the new extensions of the Kenville veins that Lloyd discovered in 2010, 11, 12. Now, there was a 43-101 done on this historic one. So in the old portal working and stuff, I think the historic 43-101 had about 350,000 ounces in there. That's not what we're targeting. We're targeting this new area down here in the bottom. And we're anticipating, our goal is to target about 125 ton a day, a half ounce on deck every day. That's our target. So we're going to start with a portal off to the left, come down through a series of veins that are down there as we do the decline and roll into a bulk sample. And then by the time we get to the bottom, hopefully we can roll into a small mining permit. But we'll go to the next slide.
When do you think you can then really start production with the small mining permit? I mean, 125 tons a day sounds not that much, but with your grades, I can imagine that's quite a lot.
Yeah, well, let's see, about the 3rd month, we'd be into this first swarm of veins. So we'd be starting our, and what the plan is we're going to start working and drilling. We'll have one crew mining, one crew moving ahead doing development. And as we roll into the bulk sample, we'll just keep things going and we'll be applying to amend the permit to go to a small mining permit. We've pretty much over the last 2 years done all the steps that you would need to do to open a major mine pretty much, right? So we've gone through all the elements. I think we've checked all the boxes. So now it's just amendments as we move forward. And there'll be other criteria, obviously, but for the most part, we've done all the hard lifting. So once we get our draft permit to proceed, we just check. If the company approves all the discussions that we've gone through, and as we've been going through the discussions over with the draft permit over the last 2 years, we've been going ahead and spending money, knowing what's going to be anticipated in advance of the draft permit, so we pretty much know what to expect. And we've been keeping ahead of that work, so that when we do get the draft permit, it's going to be a short window before we actually start the collar and do development. And then I think there's a slide in here shortly that I can show you through a series of development that after year one we'll be into delivering some gold. And that'll be to our finance partner, who I'll explain as well in a little bit.
Okay.
We can proceed to the next slide. And here's our development plan. So you can see basically that as we get into month 12 will be our first 1,000 ounces. And this is all conceptual. It's our conceptual development plan. We do have a conceptual mine plan and all that stuff that we've put together. But as you can start to see, after the 12th month, we start getting into mining out 1,000 ounces a month. But our actual will actually be in the gold into the gold swarm of veins on the east in the 3rd month, right? So anyway, it's giving us lots of wiggle room here.
Yeah, as I see, no capex is here written. We own our own equipment. The buildings are already on site. So that means you really do not need any additional money to get that all started?
Yeah, well, what we did was we so we own the surface rights and the underground rights. And that's been the case for about 110 years. And it's all patented ground, like mining claims. All the buildings have been in there. So when we got involved in Ximen, we acquired the privately held company that had all this. We just revamped all the buildings. We brought everything up to snuff. We bought our own equipment. So we bought, long toms, our excavators, all our drills. We have everything that we need for this project. We even own our own transformers, like our underground machine equipment. So we've already gone ahead and bought all new equipment and everything. We own all that. So we don't need any CapEx for that side. But what we do need is for cash flow management. And what we were looking at originally in 2020 was about 3.5 million Canadian to manage the cash flow until we started to see some returns on the bulk sample. And what we ended up doing is we ended up doing an arrangement with a gold trader out of Paris, actually. And so we've secured 5 million US, and in exchange for that, we've got to deliver ounces of gold at the end of the first year, but a lot less than 1,000 ounces, obviously. And so when we get the draft permit, we've got 2 requirements. One is to get the draft permit and approve it, and when we get a final permit, then we can start drawing down some of that money. And then the other part is that we have to raise $1.5 million hard dollars Canadian for the company as a requirement for that advancement. And partly to do that was to make sure that we got money for G&A and our other projects, because we do have such an extensive portfolio. They want to make sure that we weren't using development money for anything else. So we agreed to that. That's not an issue. But we will be, as we go forward here, before we get the draft permit, we'll be looking at securing that other $1.5 million. Yeah. And then that's what we need. So we needed 3.5 million Canadian, and we secured 5 million US. So we've got lots of wiggle room in there. And I think we got a comfortable buffer, even with the inflation as it is. Now, one of the other things that, as we've been going along through the permit stage, because we've made the decision to spend the money in advance, I know it was a little bit risky, but go ahead and spend the money in advance and do the work and buy the equipment and so forth. We are probably ahead of the game, because we're not going to be waiting for parts and equipment through, supply chains lines. If we're well ahead of that, right? So we're ready to go, which is nice.
Perfect.
So I hope that explains your.
Absolutely. No, that's super. Okay. Thanks. Great.
And then we're planning on taking our materials down to the facility in Greenwood. It's about 2-hour drive down to Greenwood. They got a 200-ton-a-day mill down there, so that's where we're looking at processing stuff. And they got a Nelson concentrator down there, tables and everything. It's one of the only mills in southern BC with a lined tailings pond as well. And we've already tested the ore down there, so it's compatible with the tailings pond and so forth. And we go to the next slide. So these are our milestones, 2019. As you can see, we've met all these. We've 2020 ARD, SRK environment. We've had Massey, so we've hired some of the best firms in the province to do all our environmental work and help us and assist us with our permitting. We've done all our term sheets to secure for the funding, and we've reiterated that again just recently. And we've had SRK involved. Massey's done all our hydrology, and now we're just waiting for the draft development permit, and then we'll initiate the portal development and move into a bulk sample this year.
Perfect.
Again, I think we're.
Yep.
What are we?
Yeah, we have spoken on all of that.
2 slides, the same one. Okay. So this is the Brett epithermal project was the main focus of the company till we got the Kenville. And the Brett is one of the is a project that we've paid millions of dollars for, and we've done several $1 million in development work on it. It's the elephant in the company as far as a target goes. We think it's got the potential for multi-million ounce. It's a big epithermal system, and there's gold. We've done regional work all over this property since 2014 till now, and there's gold, kilometers away. So it's got a bulk sample that's been completed on it. We've opened up the portal on it again, and we've got permits in for both underground development work and drilling, and work to do drilling on the surface. So we'll probably be putting some news out about this shortly, and assigning a specific project geologist to this project, and we'll be advancing this project through exploration this year again. And as you can see, it's got good roads up to the project itself. It's in a perfect location for I don't think you do an open pit, but you might it's got possibility of underground open pit, or it's got a series of stacked high grade veins that we've been working on now, and the portal that we've got in that we've reopened there now is underneath the main shear zone, and so we'll be doing some work in there as well. There's a parallel structure of high grade veins that we'll be drilling into underground. So it's a good, it's it fits in that portfolio of a half-ounce type target, high-grade gold mine. And we'll go to the next slide here. This is the Greenwood Camp, and Ximen had a project in there called the Gold Drop, which we optioned off to another company. So we are one of the largest shareholders in the other company, and that's the property in the orange, and then the property in the red surrounding that is property that Ximen has acquired over the years in the Greenwood Camp. The Greenwood Camp was a prolific mining camp at the turn of the century. It was one of the largest producers of copper gold for the First World War. And off to the left, you can see the project there is called the Amelia Project. That was the second producing underground gold mine in BC. And we've acquired that project, both the Crown grants, the NSRs, and all the mineral titles for that whole project. So I'll go into that a little bit detail, but that is a very nice project. We just got that all permitted and everything as well. So we'll be announcing some news on drilling and advancing that project here very shortly. So we're quite excited about that. Again, it's high grade quartz veins near surface, past operator, past producer. So we're excited about that, and we'll be doing some work on that this summer as well. We can go to the next slide. And the Bud Elk. Actually, the Bud Elk, we just put out some news about that this morning.
Yep.
So we did an airborne over that. We got some copper gold targets in there. So we've arranged a drill permit. So we'll be looking at drilling that shortly as well. And again this morning we announced the news on it. So when we did the airborne, we came up with some interesting targets, and we'll be going in to drill those. And you can expect news on that very shortly. We'll go to the next slide. And this is the Amelia Gold Mine. I'm particularly interested in this one. It's like a high grade opportunity. We haven't had a chance to get in there and do much work, but we're very excited. This will be our first year we actually get to go in there and do some drilling on the quartz veins that are in there. And both Dr. Matt Ball and myself are quite intrigued by this project. So now that we've got it all acquired, and that claim map there is not quite representative. We do own all the Crown grants in there now and the mineral title, so that needs to be updated, but that's okay. And we've got it all permitted, ready for work. So you will see news on this coming shortly as well. And this is the Wild Horse Creek Gold property. This was a deal we worked on. So the red, the blue, and the gold is all our property. So it's a pretty extensive land package that we put together in there. And we dealt with multiple parties over quite a long time to put it all together. But there's several different families, and 3 generations of one family was part owners in there. But the intriguing part about this particular property is that it's seen quite a bit of, probably most of the alluvial gold in southern BC's come in from in here. And it's never really been sourced. And so now that we've put together the whole land package in there, we are permitted to drill in there on 2 locations. And last year we did a little bit of drilling up there on, this is the one spot we did some helicopter drilling, first time in the company that we drilled last year. And so we've got some permits set up on there. We got an exploration plan set for this summer as well. So we'll be in here drilling and doing some exploration work in here as well this year. Anyways, we got an extensive, quite a bit of meterage in drilling to do, as you can see, over the next several years. So
that is really a lot. How do you finance that? My goodness, with the production?
Well, our plan was to create the little heartbeat of the company with the Kenville and have some cash flow coming from Kenville and use that to feed off into these other projects that are, the Brett, which we think is a multi-million-ounce project, the Amelia, which we think can turn into another small gold producer like the Brett, the Wild Horse, where they've had millions of ounces of alluvial gold found, but nobody's found the source of that yet. So we got a lot of upside as far as exploration goes. And our target overall was to put together a project where we could, within the company, a portfolio of projects where we could target somewhere between 8 and 10 million ounces of gold. And that's what we've done here with these projects, is put together that type of portfolio. Now, we've recently had a new investor come into the company that was New Gold, and they trade on the New York Stock Exchange, and they're like over $1 billion company, market cap company, and they've decided to take a 10% ownership in Ximen on an ongoing basis, and we'll see how that relationship develops. They may increase it, but right now they're an investor in the company. I think they like to see what the portfolio that we've got here and the projects. So yeah, it's nice to have a local partner. They're also the producers of the New Afton mine here just north of us in BC as well, in southern BC. Anyway, so yeah, there is quite a bit of drilling. So we got a busy year ahead of us. Lots of planning. We've been doing lots of planning over this last month and permit writing, and so it keeps us busy over the winter. Anyways,
it looks really like.
Yeah. And again, so there's New Gold that's recently took a 10% position with Ximen, 9.9%. And that'll be focused on the Bud Elk and also on the Amelia and the Brett. Those are the 3 projects that we'll be using those funds towards and developing. So you'll see news about that very soon. And we can go to the next slide, I guess. So our share structure is 98 million shares out. And as an owner, 100% with the NSRs and everything, I think, we're in a pretty good position as far as what we see. I think the market's been momentum driven for a long time. And I think that the market's going to shift to value driven. And that's what we've been doing, is working on building up value in the company. I know it's not as exciting as momentum Bitcoin chasing stocks, but we've been the steady Eddie. And so I think now that we own everything 100%, we got a chance to create some production going forward here. I think it'll be, we'll be able to build some value for our shareholders. And we trade on the both in Canada. over in Frankfurt, obviously, and in the US. So anyways, we got just over $20 million market cap. Myself, I'm probably in the 8 to 9% owner of the company personally, and then my family and other directors and stuff. So we got good ownership in the company and investment in the company ourselves.
Okay.
And I think there's another slide, or we're done. Our management team.
Yep.
Okay. So there's myself, and I started with Ximen in 2014, working through with some of the senior guys that have been in the underground mining business here in southern BC, and we decided to create this company targeting high-grade gold assets in southern British Columbia. And we've got Dr. Matt Ball, who's worked on several different projects in southern BC as well, seen from gone from exploration stage into full production. And we got Scott Kent, one of our independent directors on the company. If we can proceed. Roy Davis, another mining engineer that's been with the company now for several years, come out of the Royal School of Mines. Wesley Worthy Anderson, he's got a degree in economics, and he's also my son, and I'm very proud of him. He's a smart young man. And then we've got our Nicolette Keith, our CGA, that's been with us for several years as well, worked with several public companies on the TSX. And I think that's about
fantastic.
We got Sophie Caesar, who's our great IR lady. So if you call into the company,
exactly,
you get all your questions answered by Sophie.
That's right. Super. Perfect. Thank you very much for the update and presentation, Chris. I have one last question. What is your hypothetical thinking about AISC when you are, let's say, in commercial production? You must have a plan. I know it's a forward-looking statement for the regulators, but can you give us an idea? Do we talk about $900, $1,200 per ounce gold?
Oh, you mean for our actual cost for production? Is that what you're?
Cost per ounce.
Sorry, I didn't hear you there, but
the AISC.
Yeah, so we're targeting to be in. We're targeting it to be about $1,000 Canadian, all in.
Oh,
right?
Canadian. Okay.
Yeah, Canadian, not US.
Super.
Canadian.
Well, that would be a nice margin, I would say.
Yeah, we were targeting $900 Canadian, but due to recent inflation and stuff, we bumped that a little bit. We do have one diesel unit that's running on the property. The rest of it, we're tied into the Kootenay Dam, and we're using pneumatic drills from all underground. So we have a very small environmental footprint, and most of the development we own all our own equipment and stuff. So we're in pretty good position that way.
Super, fantastic. Chris, thank you very much for the presentation. Wish you all the best, and hopefully we see us soon and talk soon then. And keep fingers crossed that you get this small mining permit and really get the production started.
Thank you.
Super, thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Christopher Anderson, the CEO of Ximen Mining, and you heard it. Things look really good. Big project package the company has assembled, and also they will start hopefully soon here with let's say on a small mining permit scale, and they want to go up then, let's say, to 1,000 ounces per month, and then they want to do 2,000 ounces per month so that they come to 24,000 ounces. You heard it, projected are 1,000 Canadian dollars. Projected, it's hypothetical of course, AISC, and I think that would be great because the margin is exceptional. As you know, we are very bullish on gold. Maybe you should check out the company. It's an advice from my side. I'm a shareholder of the company. So thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.